Hi, I'm Carrie Ancio.
And I'm Bill Ancio.
And today we're going to talk about our faith stories. So my faith story begins in my childhood. And as long as I can remember, my grandfather on my dad's side was a minister. And my grandmother, his wife, was his dutiful sidekick. She did all the work behind the scenes. And during the week, he read and he studied and he wrote. And then on Sundays, he preached. And so as far back as I can remember, we would go to their church, mostly on holidays, but also other Sundays throughout the year. And my cousins and I would sit in the pews, the hard wooden pews. And as a family, we would attend church and listen to my grandpa preach. And so I thought that was pretty special. Like, my grandpa was up there speaking to this congregation. And as a team, my grandparents served this congregation. So many times after we'd go to church together, we would come back to my grandparents' home and have a family dinner. And that is when we all shared fellowship and love and lots of potatoes and chicken dumplings. And after dinner, we would sit as a family and read scripture, and my grandpa would share the upper room with us. And so I think that also instilled in me that family and faith is important, and it goes together. We certainly could not leave the table as the cousins to go play until all of those things were done, and we closed out the evening with prayer. So it's really special to me to think back on my childhood, like age 10 and younger, and have those seeds of faith planted so strongly. And I think that's what we're trying to do now with our own family.
As I think back on my childhood, I'm also very grateful for adult role models in my life, and particularly my parents, who really lived out an active faith. They were very involved in the ministries of our church, and they also set a priority on spiritual growth for themselves by being involved in Bible studies and things like that, but also for us children. I have 3 siblings, and so the six of us would go to church every Sunday, regardless of the situation or what maybe have happened the day before. Like, for example, I can remember going the morning after prom in high school, and I was still wearing my tuxedo, and I think I had about 1 hour of sleep, but we were going to church. And so we 6 would file in, much to the chagrin of the people who sat behind us, because we're all about 6 feet tall or taller, and listened to the sermon, and we sang along, and we were very much involved with things. And I remember as I grew up, being more attentive, of course, to the service and the message, and really starting to think about what it meant to be a Christian, and what it would mean for me to hear God's calling in my life. I think another way they prioritized spiritual growth for us was having us all set aside one night a week to keep our schedules open for something they called family home evening, and we would sit in the living room and have conversation. We usually played a little game, and then we had Bible reading, and we prayed together. And I think my parents, what was remarkable to me about them was they wanted to continue to grow in their faith even into their retirement years. And I can picture them in the sunroom of their house, having their morning coffee, watching the activity outside the window, and just having their Bibles open and reading devotions and praying together. So I feel real blessed that I had such role models. Yep. As parents, we hope to give our own children similar experiences and instill in them the importance of a life of faith.